Okay, it's 4:30. Call the meeting to order and acknowledge that the District of Tofino operates within the territory of the Tla-o-qui-aht First Nation, Tla-o-qui-aht. Notice to attendees that the meeting is being video recorded and will be published on the District of Tofino's YouTube channel. Notice to virtual attendees to sign up for public comment and question period using the Q&A function of Zoom. To register, participants are required to enter the full name, residential address, and the agenda item. Doing unanimous consent. If there are no objections, I'll move that. Pursuant to section 15 of the District of Tofino Meeting Procedure Bylaw number 1229/2016 is amended. September 16, 2025 regular meeting be held electronically via Zoom, live broadcasting on the District of Tofino's YouTube channel, and that the facility provided for the public to watch and hear the meeting be located at Lakewood Sound Community Theatre, 380 Campbell Street in Tofino, BC. Being no objection, motion carried. Also, through unanimous consent, if there are no objections, I'll move that the September 16, 2025 regular council agenda be adopted. Through no objection, that motion is carried. Also, through unanimous consent, move that items 4.1 to 4.2 of the consent agenda on the regular council meeting held September 16, 2025 be approved and received. Seeing no objection, that motion is carried. Mayor's report. It's my pleasure to report that council, members of council, myself, and master and staff have been working with the Tla-o-qui-aht First Nation leadership on a friendship accord. Very exciting, and it's our hope that our two communities can move forward together in their friendship collaboration. Okay, we have an announcement as part of the mayor's report is that it's my honor today to recognize and celebrate a remarkable milestone. In August, our Chief Administrative Officer, Tla-o-qui-aht, officially marked 15 years of dedicated service with the District of Tofino. As a chartered professional accountant, Nyla first joined the district in August of 2010 as a treasurer. For the year, she grew along with the organization, eventually serving as the district's Director of Financial Services beginning in 2017. And in 2022, stepped into the role of Chief Administrator. One of the areas where Nyla's leadership has had a significant impact is the strengthening of the district's relationships with Tla-o-qui-aht First Nations. The district's reconciliation journey, guided by important milestones, including protocol agreements and memorandums of understanding. Nyla's steady leadership and collaborative vision have been central to moving this work forward in meaningful ways. And I got to say, you know, we're sitting in this very room with Tla-o-qui-aht elders, hereditary elected chiefs, and it's a great moment. Thank Nyla for being there. Some of the most significant projects and policies in this recent history, including the completion of the wastewater treatment plant, the $10 a day childcare, single-use plastic regulations, including our latest 1 liter or less plastic water bottle ban, which has gone across the country. I know people in Nova Scotia are watching on the news and learning about us, and hopefully that's some great impact. Pacific Rim. Just a second. I'm going off script. Community partnerships. The Pacific Rim School District, ST70, has been a tremendous success. The partnerships, MOUs, working with Ballfield. I know Nyla has personally put a lot of effort into that, stepped into the breach specific times that have made all the difference. It's been a pleasure to work alongside Nyla. She's steady, thoughtful, collaborative. She brings people together, does some cares, and helps chart forward. The CAO demands long hours, tough decisions, and conversations. It is a difficult job to do. Be great to have Nyla. On behalf of council, staff, and the community, I want to extend our deepest gratitude I'll thank you for your 15 years of service, for your leadership, for your unwavering dedication to this community. We're proud to celebrate this milestone. Please join me in congratulating and thanking Nala for her remarkable contributions to the District of Tofino. We got this in a blue special balloon packet. Let's return to Jamie.
Fancy.
Very good.
It's on, it's right there. The video.
We need to do these things when it's very controversial subjects, so we have more of an audience than I.
Our number one audience.
There you go.
They represent.
Okay, I just have to say my heart goes out. That's tragic. Loss, you know, a good friend of mine. Let's take a little moment. Just to Robert. Okay, correspondence. Or sorry, public comment on agenda items. Ms. Larson, can you make an open call?
Thank you, Mayor Law. I'll make an open call for comments. Those in the gallery wishing to speak, please raise your hand. If there is anyone attending online via Zoom that would like to make a comment, you can do so now using the Q&A function. For making a comment, you'll need to state your name, your address, and the agenda item you're speaking to. I will now do a call. Calling once. Calling twice. Calling 3 times. And there are no comments at this time.
On the correspondence 9.1, correspondence from Comox Valley Airport Commission regarding request for letter of support for enhanced Canada Border Services Agency services. Very straight up letter for request for support. Council? Nodding? Yeah. Excellent. Happy to oblige, Ms. Atiana. Do we need a motion to yeah, well, I'll move that council send a letter of support for enhanced Canada Border Service Agency services as requested by the Comox Valley Airport Commission. Second by Councillor Steer. Any further comments? All in favor? None opposed, motion's carried. Presentations and reports. Okay, this is exciting. We got 10.1. Not that airports are exciting. Taking care of children, operating agreement. Such a simple.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mayor and Council. I am presenting tonight on the, I'm going to try pronouncing this, so bear with me, the Tla-o-qui-aht Taking Care of Children operational agreement. Oh, go ahead. Oh, we're there. Anyways, a bit of background on this. The District of Tofino was renewing our lease agreement with Island Health back in early 2004. And at that time, Island Health expressed wanting to provide increased health services on the coast. And use the current space that the Community Children's Center resides in. And so recognizing the critical need for childcare on the coast, they were very keen on working with us to find a solution for continued childcare services. And so through that process, the District of Tofino reached out to SD70 to inquire about the most recently built childcare space on the Q&amp Community School Society, or Q&amp Community School grounds. And SD70 at that time informed district staff that they would be releasing an expression of interest shortly for providing those services. So staff submitted a expression of interest to operate the space. in May 2025, and we were selected as the successful proponent, which brings us to this lovely operating agreement attached to the report. Oops, where am I going? Need your help, Jamie. There we go. Just so for a little bit of background with this space, a little bit of reference. So staff are planning from our current operations to this new site. We'll be providing increased service levels. And so for a little bit of reference, we are currently licensed for 18 children aged 30 months to 5 years at the Community Children's Center. And we're at 100% occupancy right now. And then we're also licensed for group childcare school age, which we're at 0% due to the physical layout of the facility. So just to orient everybody, this is the presented new space at the Wickinninish Community School. So at the top, we'll see the yellow area, and that's the playground. In the center is the two licensed care rooms. And then at the south end of the building is the Strong Start / before after school care program area. And so due to the increase in community and services that we are presenting here, we're anticipating that we will likely need to take a phased approach to increasing operations under this agreement. And sorry, Jamie, I might need some assistance. There we go. And so we will be presenting a three-phased approach with this. Proposed operations will result in 14 new spaces for age 30 months to school age from the CCC's current operations, and 24 spaces for before and after school care previously not offered due to our facility size limitation. And so as this is laid out, so phase one would see the transition of our current operations and increasing the amount of children up to 32 spaces. And that's anticipated sometime fall and winter. And then phase two, we would look at after school and non-instructional day care. And that would be for school age care on school ground care type. And then phase three would look at before school care sometime in 2026. And that's all dependent on staffing resource levels, of course. One thing that I just want to point out, which I have little asterisks there beside the 24. So after the report was published, we received information from our licensing officer specific to this school age care on school grounds, which is a new care type for me. We were previously licensed as a group care school age, which is a different care group than this one presented. And actually this care group offers fewer restrictions to floor space per child than group care does. So that number of 24 could possibly increase based on the building floor plan size. So I just wanted to put that to council and also pending staffing resources available. Good, thank you. So a little bit of financial impact here. So related to program services. So the Community Children's Center is currently a 10-a-day center, and staff will be exploring a funding amendment with the province to continue that program in the new space. If they are unable to cover funding through that program, we would look to go to the community or the childcare operating funding program, which we were previously part of, to help cover reduce fees for parents as well as covering operational costs. And then should those both fail, we would revert back to a cost recovery model through our fees and charges bylaw. Related to the operational agreement, financial impacts within the agreement are related to a monthly lease agreement. Currently, the Community Children's Center does not pay a monthly fee, but this new agreement would have a monthly lease amount of $3,554. That lease covers custodian and maintenance staffing, ground support, utilities, so that's hydro, water, and waste removal, custodian and maintenance supplies and materials, so toilet paper, hand towel, modest administrative fees, and a replacement reserve for the building itself. And then lastly, the financial impact, because we'd be transitioning operations over, there wouldn't be the additional space of the Community Children's Center on top of that. So our financial impacts of this agreement and the service. Yeah, sure.
What's the, who does the custodial maintenance for the Jolly Center now?
We currently do that in-house with our.
In-house.
Yeah. So that would free up our staff potentially to address other buildings.
So we are actually paying for that now, we're just paying it in-house.
That's
So we can expand the service somewhere else. Great, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So next steps. So presented here today is the draft operational agreement with SD70 in your package. I will make a note that that agreement is still in draft form and it is pending final review by both legal and MIABC. We've been back and forth with everybody, but couldn't quite get that finalized before this meeting. And UBCM for you fine folks. So anyways, there will be likely some small adjustments to that agreement. But I don't anticipate any substantial changes to the agreement related to how it's structured or kind of the covenants and obligations by both parties. And so once that agreement is executed, signed by us, we will then submit it over to SD70's board for signature and finalization. And then notification will start with the community on expanded services. And then that agreement is needed, that executed operating agreement is required in order to make a funding amendment request to the province. That's one of their criteria, as well as a lease agreement and a license. So we need to then get a community childcare facility license in place, which we've already started that process as it can take some time. So, and then after that, we then prepare families and our staff for the transition to a new space. Should everything be approved here today. So lastly, the recommendation before you is that the mayor and corporate officer be authorized to execute the Tla-o-qui-aht Taking Care of Children Operating Agreement attached as Appendix 1 to the staff report titled Tla-o-qui-aht Taking Care of Children Operating Agreement dated September 16th, 2025. Question?
Super. Questions from council? Councilor Steer.
Thank you, through the
Chair.
Thank you for the report. This over the last decade, the evolution of childcare at Tofino, and this is a fruition along a very concentrated effort. So I thank for that. A couple of questions in the staff report and what I see in front of me in terms of group childcare under 36 months. It's a gap that we've identified in our services to the community. And when I read the report, it says when staffing, and you reiterated, when staffing resources are sufficient to offer group childcare for children under 36 months, that service will be provided. So I am curious in terms of our recruitment efforts in that area and where we may be at that time. This is something that has been brought up over many years, as you know. So I'm just curious if we have a plan in place and if we are actively in that process.
Through the mayor. So the group childcare under 36 months or infant toddler care would require an ECE with infant toddler certification, ECE, as well as an ECA for the max number of spaces in this facility. So 3 staff. We currently have enough staff with the correct certifications to offer both rooms at 30 months to 5 years. Because we don't need that infant toddler certification. So we are proposing just to move forward into that realm until we can we have the necessary staff to offer that service. I've had one staff member maybe note that they were interested in potentially pursuing the infant toddler certification, but that would be a year and a bit out based on where they're at with their education. So not insurmountable, but definitely a little bit of a path, because we would also need to have an ECE as well in that room, plus an ECE on the other side. So not insurmountable, but it's definitely something that we can work towards slowly but steady.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. Yeah, so with that in mind, we went through a very active recruitment process to get us to the staffing levels that we're at, and I'm hoping that we'll engage in that process again. It was, I would say, outside the box thinking, and we were successful in that way. So certainly would like to appreciate that. And just so I understand, you cannot submit the request for the $10 a day expansion until this operating agreement with SD70 is executed. That is correct, right?
Correct.
So there is a bit of a lag until we potentially say yes here today.
Yeah, and staff have already started to submit just background just to get that process slowly moving forward. But they won't look at it fully as a proposal until everything is submitted. So
I think this looks great, and I think it'll be really well utilized in being families. My question today was regarding the parking. I can't remember what the parking is used for up there, and will we be losing parking in the summertime?
So through the chair, so on the SD70 property, when they redid the fields and they built the building, there are parking spots located back in on SD70 property, which will be designated for staff or visitors or people to drop off. And then also all the parking out front is paid parking, I believe. So that will maintain and stay as paid parking, but those 3 spots available for staff to park will be there on SD70 property. Thanks.
Just have a question. I noticed that there's it hasn't been running. There's not a lot of equipment outside or things for the kids to play on when they do get in there. Is the daycare sufficiently funded to provide all that outdoor equipment there?
Merit, good question. So SD70 through their new spaces build did receive funding from the province to buy equipment for the space, and so they still have that money available. And we would be working with SD70 to develop what equipment can be purchased through that funding for the space itself. So we're looking at tables, play equipment, storage units or cubbies and those kind of things. So we do have funding available that way. We also have some Saltwater Classic funding donation that we have received in previous years. We were going to build a new shed, but we probably won't do that now, and potentially put that in towards other equipment for the space. And then $10 a day does cover programming supplies and materials. So some of those costs may be covered. Sleep mats might be covered under $10 a day. Other kids glasses and cups and things like that would also be covered under that. So I feel like we have enough funding sources to help fill that play area.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, thank you for the question.
Great. Okay, Councilor Master.
The report mentions that you can apply for a renewal for 10 years.
Yes.
Why only 10 or not 20? Why was it 5? Was there a reasoning for 10?
So through the mayor or through the chair, the intention was, so the first term is 4 years based on, that's when all their other agreements are coming up for renewal. And then we have expressed that we want a longer term renewal after that point. So we stated 10 years, but we could open that back up should everything be functioning properly. And based on conversations with SD70 staff, I would say that there's flexibility within determining a longer term lease should that be requested.
Okay, thank you.
Super. Now we've got a recommendation in front of us, but I noticed that because the taking care of children operating agreement is in a slightly changeable form. I'm wondering if we need a question for staff, if we need to add in just before attached as appendix 1 in its substantial form. Okay. And I'm going to do that from the chair. And so just to make sure that allows staff to be able to make changes, but it's substantially there. So I'll move from the chair that the mayor and corporate officer be authorized to execute the Tla-o-qui-aht taking care of children operating agreement in its substantial form as attached as appendix 1 to the staff report titled Tla-o-qui-aht taking care of children operating agreement dated September 16, 2025. Sorry, Mr. Steer, any further comments? All in favor? None opposed, motion is carried. Thank you.
Nailed the pronunciation. Nice work. Thank you.
We'd have to have Iris in here.
Yeah.
Okay, item 10.2, snow and ice control policy. We have a report from infrastructure. Mr. Kirkland.
Council. Today I'll be providing a presentation on a snow and ice control policy.
Can I ask a question while we're waiting for the clicker? Through the chair. Who coined the term winter rodeo for the policy approach? The past approach.
Through the chair, I will take a note and find that out because it has been carried through history and was a term I started working with the district. So great question. So yeah, here's that agenda and overview of what I'll go over in the presentation here today. Right. Historically, staff have followed a winter rodeo standard operating procedure, which has in it considerations for operational snow and ice, operational response to snow and ice weather events, as well as other weather events that we see in wintertime out here on the West Coast. The proposed policy complements the operating procedure already in place and will assist staff in policy to procedure line of sight, specifically to snow and ice control on district transportation infrastructure. On June 2nd, staff introduced the concept of this policy to council, receiving feedback in advance of drafting the policy for adoption. Some of the feedback that staff had received with respect to this policy were snow and ice removal on the MUP, ensuring snow removal on emergency priority routes are in place, and environmental and qualitative considerations with utilizing salt on the MUP being key topics to consider in the policy development. The drafted snow and ice control policy divides operational snow and ice control responsibilities into 3 categories: roads, sidewalks, and the MUP. Roads will be attended to in 3 priority levels. Priority level 1 being roads of critical importance to maintaining municipal services such as access to the hospital, fire hall, and other public service buildings. These roads will be cleared to passable condition prior to staff attending the other priority 2 and 3 roadways. Snow removal efforts will commence after 10 centimeters of continuous snowfall, while ice control efforts shall commence once temperatures are forecasted to drop to 0 degrees Celsius or below over a 24-hour period. And these efforts may occur outside of regular staff working hours. Like roads, snow and ice control, sidewalks will be prioritized on a 2-level priority basis. Priority 1 sidewalks being the highest priority and of similar locations to priority 1 road locations. The sidewalk snow and ice control shall also commence after 10 centimeters of continuous snowfall and consider continuous temperatures of 0 degrees Celsius or below over 24-hour period. While not absolving residents' requirements under the district bylaw 1098, the public property use bylaw, to remove snow from sidewalks in front of their residents. Staff will prioritize to remove snow from all sidewalks in accordance with the priority routes in the policy in order to support the community. Snow and ice control on the MUP shall commence after 10 centimeters of continuous snowfall and shall be conducted during regular staff working hours. If staff cannot keep up with maintaining passable conditions to the MUP, sections of the MUP may be temporarily closed until adequate snow and ice control can be completed. Staff will commence snow and ice control efforts on the MUP from the downtown core working south. During MUP snow and ice control, the ice control efforts shall be limited to sanding only with limited use of salt in environmentally sensitive areas and in order to reduce corrosive impact to the MUP surface. Through reviewing the existing public property use bylaw 1098 and council expressing interest in changing some of the MUP clearing responsibilities, staff have removed residential requirements from clearing snow and ice on the MUP. Primary rationale supporting this amendment are the large distances that many properties bordering the MUP do have. Impacts to staff service levels at that time of the year are much lower during the busy as compared during the busy season. And the difference of what a multi-use pathway is to a traditional sidewalk. As such, this report is also recommending, as you'll see later on, 3 readings to amend the public, the bylaw 1098, the public property use bylaw. Staff have also identified an overlap in the parks and trails inspection and maintenance policy, indicating that snow or ice control is not performed in the MUP. So we have amended this policy to remove the MUP from its language. So during our public consultation period, staff met with Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Tofino staff to discuss the policy. Staff also regularly engaged with the Ministry of Transportation and Transit staff just with respect to transportation infrastructure, and will continue to do so as it to this policy. And in parallel with this policy coming into effect, staff will also look at adding a section on the district's website to provide easy to read informational graphics to continually educate the public, provide transparency on the service that district staff provide during the winter and during snow and ice control events to the community, similar to this graphic that I found from another Canadian municipality. With that, I will leave the recommendations on the screen and answer any questions.
Thanks so much. I'm gonna open it up to council for questions.
Sure. Thank you through the chair. Thank you for the report. Couple questions and just a comment. Just out of my own curiosity, how is the 10 centimeter or 4-inch threshold agreed upon? Like, what is the criteria used to determine why 4 inches or 10 centimeters for that threshold?
Through the chair, that's a great question. We utilized the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. MOTT has a 6-inch criteria. So with the size of our community and us wanting to do a little bit better, we use that as a bit of a datum, and then decided we would initiate our responses a little bit sooner.
This is not that quick. So my son lives in Prince George, and their snow removal budget is $10.8 million. I'm just wondering, what is our SCIP budget for 2025? Just out of curiosity.
Through the chair, it's not 10.8 million.
I thought it might be slightly less, but
yeah. a lot of municipalities would use contracted services, especially bigger communities that have larger responses, so a lot of their budget does go to that. Our budget is not quantifiable for what we carry for snow and ice control events, just due to the fact that we do manage it internally. There is a small amount of sand and ice material that we purchase each year. It's just not a significant quantity, so we don't identify it on its own independent ledger code.
Thank you. And just a comment around the multiple use path, and as you know, it's just a comment, as you know, as in the report, subject to availability of staff and only during regular working hours. It is a major, as you know, transportation. I know in the wintertime not so much, but that is a transportation corridor for sure. And as you pointed out in your report, verbal report, how it is used outside of normal sidewalk category. So I just wanted to bring that there. And I do know that we have transit services now, but many of those transit service bus stops are accessed by the multiple use path. And just to note that it is an important piece of our transportation infrastructure.
Chair, appreciate that.
Mr. Thomas.
Through the chair, a bit of a hyper-specific one, but for streets that aren't named for in any of the priorities, are they assumed to be under Route 3, just other remaining streets similar to other remaining sidewalks?
Through the chair, yes, that would be the other section.
It'd be like such a full list with a couple of pieces missing. I wouldn't want anybody living on the streets to assume that they were just going to be passed over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through the chair, I mean, that's just to add a little bit of context, standard operating procedures are living documents that, you know, through continued feedback with the community, we have the ability to change them operationally.
The question is the multi-hog gonna do this work? I'm excited to see it in the winter. Is that the case?
Through the chair, for this winter, so for the MUP specific, because we purchased the multi-hog for. We do have a Kubota unit that we can use to plow the multi-use pathway. But we will be bringing forward some aftermarket additions to the multi-hog for consideration in the 2026 budget for financial planning period.
Super, I'm excited. All right,
I have a question.
oh, Councillor Anderson.
Through the chair, I'm wondering if our salt and sand spreading has progressed beyond shoveling it up onto the truck.
Through the chair, I can confidently say that it has. We have two attachments for the back of our dump truck style vehicles that mix and distribute the salt and sand evenly as the vehicles are driving.
Progress.
Thank you. And I do have one more question, actually. I know I mentioned last time the effects some of that road salt has on riparian areas. Was that addressed? I can't remember if there's going to be a skipping over maybe some sensitive riparian areas for salt.
Through the chair, well, it's not specifically addressed in the policy. It is going to be addressed in standard operating procedures.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Just to follow up on that, it was my understanding, reading the report, that the MUP would only be judiciously salted if necessary, and then the highway is still under Modi's control, so if there's salting on the highway going through those riparian areas, it would not be us, it would be Modi.
Through the chair, that's correct.
Excellent, okay. Questions, no comments? Would the councillor like to read the recommendation reports?
Oh.
Oh. They volunteered.
I
Put up the strategy.
I'll move that the District of Tofino snow and ice control policy attached as appendix 1 to staff report titled Snow and Ice Control Policy dated September 16, 2025 be adopted.
Seconded. Any further comments? All in favor? None opposed, motion's carried.
There's two more motions to move here. Move that the District of Tofino Parks and Trails inspections and maintenance policy be amended as attached as appendix 3 to the staff report titled Snow and Ice Control Policy dated September 16, 2025.
Seconded. All in favor? Motion carried.
And finally, I'll move that District of Tofino Public Property Use Amendment Bylaw number 1098.01 2025 be introduced and read a first, second, and third time.
That's sure. All in favor? Okay. All right, Mr. Kirkland, carry on with transportation infrastructure maintenance inspection policy.
So this presentation is going to be on an updated maintenance and transportation inspection, maintenance and inspection policy. Bit of tongue twister at times. So here's an overview of what this presentation will go over. So the District of Tofino currently has a policy titled Maintenance and Inspection of Roadways that was previously adopted in 1998 and required an update. In the June 2nd, 2025 Committee of the Whole, staff received authorization from Council to draft a transportation infrastructure maintenance and inspection policy. The proposed policy builds out inspection and maintenance framework to all transportation asset categories: sidewalks, roadways, streetlights, and transportation signage. With preventative maintenance and repairs being fundamental components of transportation infrastructure management, this policy provides staff with means to develop evaluation matrices, criteria to trip hazard identification, and repairs to sidewalks, and condition assessments and maintenance of roadways. The policy includes guidelines for staff to ensure streetlights are kept in good working order, defining when light fixtures are due for replacement or the bulbs are out, and access for maintenance. Similar requirements are listed for transportation signage to ensure access and legibility of signage is maintained on a continued basis. To satisfy requirements set forth by MIA-BC, this policy ensures that staff set inspection schedules to regular intervals to ensure that the district's liability is covered in its insurance policies. These inspections are documented and tracked in the district's asset management program through GIS mapping and asset inventory recording. Policy framework allows the staff line of sight and development of continuous improvement and optimization of existing and new standard operating procedures to ensure service delivery is aligned to community expectations and vice versa. Thank you, Ms. Larson. On the public consultation, staff ran a Talk Tofino page, and again, as with the previous policy, met with both Tourism Tofino and the Chamber of Commerce to gather feedback on the proposed policy. And also consulted with MIA-BC in drafting language and policy. And with that, I'll leave the two recommendations on the screen. Be available for any questions or comments.
Excellent. Questions from council? Comments from council?
Might have been the first policy I ever built.
This is. Wow.
I
Might have been our only policy.
That was the policy. Well, then, there's no comments or questions. We can move on to reading the motion for us, recommendation for us. You have a volunteer, Councillor Anderson. Since you
Remove, repeal it.
30 years
This is
ago.
what I waited for this time. I'll move that the District of maintenance and inspections of roadways, sidewalks, and playgrounds policy adopted February 23rd, 1998 be repealed, and that District of Tofino transportation infrastructure maintenance inspection policy attached as Appendix 1 to the staff report titled Transportation Infrastructure Maintenance and Inspection Policy dated September 16th, 2025 be adopted.
Steer, Public comments, all in favor? None opposed, motion's carried. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkland. Bylaws, unfinished business initiated by council members. Do we have any business initiated by council members, verbal or written reports? Councilor Steer.
Yeah, just thank you through the chair. Just today, I was able to attend with a number of representations and evacuation, a community evacuation procedure. And this was a multi-agency response. The District of Tofino is one of the kind co-chairs of that. And it was really, and I was wearing my Coast Guard hat at that meeting. And it was really a continuation of the work that's being done and the communication between the interoperability at a region-wide level, understanding our roles and responsibilities and understanding that in a large event, and we typically in our area think of a seismic event of some point. It was really good to see all the pieces of the puzzle. We had broad representation from the regional district, from Island Health, from our own community health services, as well as the district, ACRD, et cetera, et cetera. So it was really well informed, and I wanted just a big shout out to Hillary, our Mercy Program Manager, did an excellent job of the work there and helping to facilitate that.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other reports from council? Seeing none. Question period. Ms. Larson, do we have anybody signed up for question?
Have anyone signed up for question period? But if there's anyone in the gallery that wishes to ask a question, you can raise your hand now. And for anyone who's in attendance over Zoom, I will now do an open call for questions. So calling once, calling twice, calling 3 times. There are no questions at this time.
Okay, well then moving into closed session. Is there a volunteer for this recommendation? Councilor Thomas.
Move that the meeting be closed to the public pursuant to sections 91A, C, G, I, and 92B. Charter to discuss matters relating to personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as a taxed employee or agent of a municipality or another position appointed by a municipality, labor relations or other employee relations, mitigation, potential litigation affecting the municipality, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And finally, the consideration of information received and help and competence relating to negotiations between the municipality and the provincial government or the federal government or both, or between the provincial government or the federal government or both.
Second by Short. Any further comments? All in favor? None opposed. I gotta say it. So it's part of the call.
Yes, yeah.